good, everybody? Thank you all so much for clicking on the video. I really appreciate it. I wanted to come down here real quick and talk about a couple of hot topics. First, we got to start with Diddy. Now, TMZ reported that Diddy reportedly had a knife pressed to his throat. So Diddy reportedly had a knife pressed to his throat, and his throat was nearly cut in prison. So according to TMZ, one of his friends said that Diddy was sleeping in MDC Brooklyn. I guess that's the jailhouse, and he woke up with a knife pressed against his throat. Now, the friend said that he doesn't know if Diddy fought the guy off or did the prison guard break it up. Well, how do you know the story? Because I'm assuming if Diddy is your friend and he's telling you this, we have to have the story down pat. I don't believe it, no way. Right? I could believe it a little bit. I don't know. Okay? But if we're gonna tell the story, we gotta tell the story right. And we gotta tell the story in full detail. Now, the friend said that he imagines that the intent was to intimidate Diddy. And he thinks that prison just isn't a safe place for anyone convicted of a case related to sex.
I don't know. Take what you want from that. That's what he said.
I totally disagree. But this is why I try to walk a straight line, because I can't go to jail. I feel like if I ever go to jail or prison, more time will be added to my sentence because I would have to unalive somebody. Right? I'm not built to go in a prison. I've been to unalive somebody. My nerves and stuff is bad. I can't deal with it. And I just feel like when you're in jail, nobody really cares about what happens to you. And I've always thought that, but it was confirmed on the first, I believe it was the first episode of When They See Us, or no, it was the episode where they had Corey Wise, King Corey Wise is his Instagram name. The episode where they showed him in jail, I believe that was episode 4. He had a solo episode to himself. And when he went to jail, and remember I believe they beat him and R-worded him, and he was telling the people in medical, and she was just like, baby, keep yourself safe. You know, like it was nothing that she could do. Baby, you in jail, what they gonna do? Everybody in here crooks. What we gonna do? But in regards to Diddy, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I think that Diddy's team is putting stuff out here or I think that Diddy's team is putting stories out here like this because they think that we care. And I'm pretty sure most people feel like we don't give a fuck. This was a man who was a billionaire reportedly. You know, they say he was a billionaire and they take it away. They say he was a billionaire and he take it away, and he couldn't walk the straight and narrow. He was doing everything to get put in jail, and he got put in jail, and don't nobody care for. I don't care. I don't care. My thing is fight them niggas in jail like he was fighting Cassie. Fight them niggas in jail like he was fighting Cassie. Didn't he hit? It came out in the trial that he had hit Cassie, and she fell and hit her head on the side of the bed, and she had a gash over her eye. So what if she had to go through that? And yeah, you got her stitched up and stuff real quick. Why should we feel sorry for you? You'll be all right, nigga. You tough, right?
You be all right, nigga. You tough, right?
You'll be all right. Now, one person who I think will be much happier when Diddy gets home is Karisha. Karisha went online the other day and she posted, I think I'm at my breaking point. She actually posted this Wednesday. And what I think is going on is, you know, my prayers go out to Karisha, I think. But what I think is going on is I think that Karisha thought that once she exposed that Tyla had a song with Chanel in the title, similar to hers, because according to Karisha, allegedly, she let Tyla hear her song, and all of a sudden now Tyla had a song with Chanel in the title. I think that she thought that talking about it or putting it online, it was going to stop Tyla and her team from putting out the song. And it didn't stop shit. I don't even think Tyla addressed it. Now, I heard both songs. I heard the clips of both songs. The only similarities in the song was just the name Chanel, right? Now, I think that Karisha has to know. Again, I feel like a lot of people, and no shade to the people in Miami, I feel like a lot of times the people in Miami, when the people from Miami that I see, I think they're not humble, right? And in Karisha's world, I think that she thinks that she's the best thing since sliced bread. And you got people like Saucy Santana over there boosting her head up, but Karisha has to know that Tyla is a bigger artist than her. And if you can't beat them, join them. So what Karisha could have did was reach out to Tyla behind the scenes and ask her, hey, let me be on the remix. Let me put a verse on there. Let me do something to get yourself seen on the song, because you wasn't going to stop Tyla's flow. And to be honest with you, of both of the clips, I like Carisha's better. But, or she could at least still try to put her song out. Ain't nobody stopping nothing. You know, like Tyla team can't stop Karisha from putting her song out. She could have put her song out. I don't think that Karisha would have been on beat though. But I heard both songs, but the only similarity in the songs was the name Chanel, honestly. And I said this the other day on Patreon. I think that Karisha is about to get a wake-up call now that Diddy is away. Because you could hear even the way that Saucy Santana talk about it. Oh, Karisha was with a billionaire, so what's the problem? What's the problem? The problem was that Karisha wasn't the wife. Karisha was a hoe. And the thing is that with Diddy being in jail, he wasn't on the up and up neither. That's another thing too. He wasn't on the up and up neither. And now that Diddy is in jail, Karisha is about to get a real wake-up call, because she's not about to get the awards that Diddy was paying for and making sure that she got. Right? The podcast of the year. How could Karisha please beat the Joe Budden podcast? How could Karisha please beat Drink Champs? Karisha Please was coming out with an episode once every 2 months. So how could she really beat anybody in the podcast genre at all? So I think that she's going to have a wake-up call. And I think that if Diddy was out, I doubt that Tyla single would have even saw the light of day. He had that much influence in the industry. I don't think that her single would have saw the light of day. But Tyla's single dropped. I listened to it this morning while I was at the gym. Well, I'm not gonna say I listened to it. I tried to listen to it, and I couldn't get through past the first verse. I ain't really like it. Again, of the two singles and the snippets that I heard, I like the Carisha's a little bit more. I wasn't really feeling Tyla's, but I guess I'll try to give it another listen. I try to make it go all the way through, but when I'm working out or whatever and I'm trying to get in my zone, I couldn't get into it. I said that Chloe dropped today too. I mean, not Chloe. What's the sister name? The baby mama. Haley dropped today too. So I'm going to have to try to listen to Haley's when I get some time today to see what's going on. But do people even know that Haley dropped? It literally was no promo for this album at all. We also got to talk about Kevin McCall. Now, Kevin McCall has been making headlines lately. Now, he was on the podcast called Back on Fig. I guess that means Figueroa. I don't know. I've never heard of the podcast before. And he broke down crying, saying that he was on food stamps.
You a motherfucking liar. You knew that?
According to Kevin, he said that Chris Brown still owes him $25,000 from when he worked with him. And he said that Chris Brown just did the Breezy Bowl and made $90 million, and it's not fair. It went viral. So Young Thug ended up seeing Kevin McCall crying. And so Young Thug said, Kevin McCall, hit me, my nigga. I'll give you the $25K you need. And I know Chris Brown will give it to you also, bro. He a real one. Niggas is busy sometimes, bro. Listen, Young Thug is trying to do anything to stay in people's good graces. I feel like after hearing him on those phone calls, and he could be changed, I don't know, but I just feel like that he's trying to do stuff to be in people's good graces. But listen, my life would not change at all, or my vision of him. Would my vision change? I don't know that he gave Kevin McCall $25,000 shit in my motherfucking pocket. What could I do with it? How could I spend it? And so it turns out that Chris Brown was not busy, like Young Thug is claiming. It turns out that Chris Brown wasn't busy. Chris Brown ended up making a post and said, remember this, you can't walk across the burnt bridge. And you know what's funnier than a troll? A broke one. Now, the bridge Chris is speaking about is apparently Kevin McCall got shot in 2018. And people online accused Chris Brown of having something to do with Kevin McCall being shot. And Kevin McCall tweeted, Chris Brown and his seed would be in a casket if he had anything to do with me being shot. Stop playing with rumors, or I can't promise Chris Brown will make 29. I kept him alive 7 years now in LA. Don't take the humbleness you see in me as weakness. Chris wouldn't have a head to tattoo on. Chris wouldn't have a head to tattoo him. It's hard to read stuff like this when there ain't no periods. I kept him alive for 7 years now in LA. Don't take the humbleness you see in me as weaknesses. Chris wouldn't have a head to tattoo on. I think that Chris probably would have been able to take that on the chin, but to say his seed, I don't think that Chris took kindly to that. And also, just last week, we saw online that Bryson Tiller ended up giving Chris Brown a Lamborghini because Chris Brown took Bryson Tiller with him on the Breezy tour. And Kevin McCall was making jokes about, well, at least I'm taking it that he was making jokes. I don't know. But he was making jokes about the light-skinned pussy being addicted, insinuating that Chris Brown and Bryson Tiller was gay, and he even insinuated that it had him addicted too, as if he was topping Chris Brown, or he had some of the light-skinned pussy that Chris Brown got. I don't know. But I'm glad that they just ignored him, because I thought that was a beautiful moment from Bryson Tiller to Chris Brown. As he said in the post, Chris Brown didn't need the Lamborghini, and he had just gifted it to him. He probably heard Chris Brown talking about it and gifted it to him. And I like that he said, it's not just from me, it's from us. And he made it seem like Chris Brown's fans and his fans all had a part in gifting Chris Brown their Lamborghini. And, it's just nice to see positive things like that in the media, especially between Black men. But I must say, Kevin McCall, even if you were owed the $25,000, do you actually think that someone is going to pay you after that? No. So Kevin McCall was stopped by TMZ, and he was asked if he took the money from Young Thug. And he said, I don't really want no charity. I would have loved if he really wanted to reach out. He could have DM'd me, gave me his number, and not did all the public stuff. What do you mean you don't want no charity? Nigga, you on food stamps.
You's a stupid motherfucker.
What do you mean you would have loved if he would have reached out? He did reach out. Now, I understand what he's saying, though. I do understand, but I feel like what he's saying is Young Thug could have reached out to him on the low, right? But I feel like with celebrities, in my mind, I feel like if their DMs, it'd be so many people in their DMs that if he hit you up in a DM, you probably wouldn't have saw it. So I feel like that he probably put it on social media as a post so everybody can tell you, hey, Young Thug looking for you, Young Thug looking for you. Because I could just imagine as a person on Instagram myself, I get a lot of DMs. And it'd be a lot sometimes, and sometimes I can't check them all. Or if I do, I do try to check them all, but I don't probably check them all in a timely fashion. But my thing with Kevin McCall is you can accept the money on the low. You could get the money on the low. Don't nobody got to know that you took the $25,000 from him. All we know is that he offered it. But ain't nobody gonna know that you took the money from him. And another Kevin, let me tell you this. Nigga, we are on the government lockdown. And you are surviving off of EBT. And that's no shade. There's no shade for you being on EBT. I'm not shaming you at all. Food stamps. Who want to buy them food stamps? You selling them? I told y'all this motherfucker came up to me in the store one time. I was in the store. I was in what is it? Food for Less. It was a Food for Less right down the street from me. I was in Food for Less, and a black man came up to me and asked me, did I want to buy some food stamps? And I had cash. I had a card on me, a debit card on me. And he was like, I'll give you $1 for $1.
Nigga, please.
Nigga, how that's gonna help me? How that's gonna help me? What I look like giving you $1 for $1? I wasn't raised like that. That's the whole game. How is it gonna help me? If you buying food stamps from somebody, it's supposed to be half of $1, half on the dollar. Half on the dollar, meaning if you're giving me $50 worth of food stamps, I'm paying you $25 for them. I'm not giving you $50 for my $50. Help me help you. You need the cash, not me, right? And he got upset. Smacked his lips and walked off.
Ooh, he is mad at you.
Anyway, but my thing with Kevin McCall is that we were on a government shutdown. And California has already made an announcement that if the government doesn't reopen, it won't be no food stamps in November. It ain't gonna be no food stamps in November for you, baby. So you better go take that $25,000. That'll be your best bet to get over there and get that $25,000. Because Chris Brown ain't gonna give you no $25,000. And honestly and truthfully, I don't believe that Chris Brown owes you no $25,000. I don't know. You just didn't really convince me that he owed you $25,000. Chris Brown don't strike me as no nigga that ain't gonna pay his debt. He don't strike me as a nigga that'll beat on a woman either. But hey, what do I know?
Me.
But I'm just saying, I just don't feel like that. If he owed you some money, that he would be. That I just don't see it. Now, with Chris Brown acknowledging a bridge being burnt, maybe I believe that Chris Brown probably would have looked out for you if you was in a hard place. But nigga, you done burnt that bridge. If you don't wrote me a killer hit song or whatever you claim that you did with Deuces, I believe that he probably would have looked out for you if he seen you in a bad spot. Especially if I'm up, I would try to look out for one of my friends or somebody that did me a solid if I was up. But if you on here trolling me and saying that light skinned pussy and all of this stuff, I want to watch you starve. I want to watch you. I'm not giving you shit. All right, but let me know, what do y'all think? Do y'all think that Diddy really almost got his throat cut in prison, or y'all think they're just trying to get him out of the MDC? Do y'all think that Kevin McCall should have took the money from Young Thug? I believe that he should have took that money from Young Thug, because you're going to need that money if the government don't open up. All right? But y'all, thank y'all so much for clicking on the video, y'all. I really appreciate the love and support, and I'll see y'all later. Adios.